All right, March 15th here, and we are ready to go. So, who wants to start off today?
John, this is Dave from Seattle. Can you hear me?
Hey, Dave, how's it going? You're a little light on the thing. You might get closer to the microphone.
All right, I'll do that. Is that any better?
A little bit. You're still pretty faint, though, but I can hear you.
All right, so let me see here. Let me crank it up a little bit. Is that any better?
A little bit. We're okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so you probably didn't get a chance to read it, but I sent you an email last night on what I'd like to cover. I'll go over it now. So I really appreciate what you shared with me at PG when I cornered you for a few minutes, and you recommended that with a new reseller that the best niche to go after would be manufacturers.
You've completely disappeared on us there. Your audio's something must be up with your audio. But anyway, I know I read the email, so let me just kind of go through and address that for you. So anyway, what David's question was, it's about our reseller program and kind of how that works and best ways to get into digital marketing and as an agency and kind of sell that. So that's what we set up a reseller program in the Dominator Club many years ago for people just like that want to do that. You know, it's great. A lot of you guys are learning how to do the digital marketing, learning how to put your funnels together and do the SEO and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of need for that in the marketplace. And a lot of companies that if you supplied that as a service, you would do very well. So that's what we did. We set up a reseller program to kind of support people that want to do just that. And the way that works is we have found that some people are better at selling and some people are better at doing. And the ones that can sell, when they try and do it, they get caught up in so much of the minutia that they're not doing what they're really good at, which is selling. So typically their business winds up suffering because of that. So what we found is the ones that can sell should go out and they should sell. And then basically you outsource all of the work, you know, the nitty gritty, because it's like, you know, people that know how to sell, they get bogged down in the details. People that are very detail oriented typically don't like to sell. So it's like two pieces to the puzzle that you need both parts. So I always say, you know, focus on where your strengths are. You know, if your strengths are in actually doing the work, then you should stay there. You should live in that sphere and find other people to sell for you. If your thing is selling and you're really good at that, then find somebody that knows how to fulfill. And basically, you know, you've got a partnership there that really makes a lot of sense. You can move forward, you can scale, you can actually grow a business that way. Because what happens with the guy that tries to do everything, what ultimately winds up happening is he does nothing well. You know, he'll go out, he'll sell a project, and then he'll go back and he'll try and fulfill it when he should be lining up the second project, you know, the second new customer. So that's where we came in. We offered our services, you know, first it started off with just SEO services. And then we started offering, you know, more web development services. And, you know, we've always offered hosting services. So that's always been a baseline. But basically all of the services that we offer, it's been opened up to all those resellers to go ahead and resell those services. We also have a referral program too, for those of you that just maybe come across an opportunity that you find somebody that needs something that we do, and you can just do a referral and just make, you know, the affiliate commissions. And same thing with the ACT program. You know, I did my my first webinar with Justin last week. Actually, just this week. We did that this week, and we recorded the you know, the webinar. We did it live. Had a few people on it. Didn't have a lot of people, but the whole object of it was to record it, so he's got an evergreen webinar now that he can promote the ACT program out not only to his audience, but he can also run Facebook ads, and he can promote it in many other various ways. So that's you know, that's another thing that you guys have at your fingertips, is the ability to promote the ACT program, promote any of the services, you know, that we offer. But as a reseller, the big difference there is you're actually providing the services as your own. So we white label it for you. So you could literally go in and say, you know, this is my company, these are the things that we offer, and they don't know anything about us on the back end. We're just doing the fulfillment for you. But it's all under your brand, presented as you. And I even get on calls with those, you know, with different resellers. I'll actually get on the phone with their customers, and I just act as an employee of them. So that's available to you as well. If you know, if you need me to come in and answer technical questions on presentations, I'm available for that. If you need me to, you know, address technical issues at any point in the project, I'm always available for that. So that's kind of the way the you know, the reseller program works. The other thing too that I'm setting up right now, some of you have been exposed to Tim Johnson, and if you haven't, he is a phenomenal sales guy. He's also doing sales training now, but I've got connected with the organization that actually trained him. You know, it's like sales is a learned skill. So if you want to learn how to sell, whether it be, you know, this service or any other service, that's really something to, you know, that's one of those things that you should invest in yourself. If you want to do sales and you want to learn how to do it right, you should go to some sales training. I've been to quite a bit myself. I haven't been to the level that what Tim has gone through, and it was really interesting to get connected to the people, the organization that actually trained him. You know, I found out where this guy came from, because he is really good. You know, he's one of the best salespeople I've ever seen, and to like lift up the hood and see where he came from, how he got to be so good, it was like, wow, okay, the magic is gone. it's just like anything else, you know, there's always formulas to everything. And again, with him, he's operating off of proven formulas. It's just I didn't know where they came from, and now I do. So I'm setting up a thing where any of our people that want to go through that, I'm working on getting a discounted program together for you guys, so you can actually, if you want to, you can go to that training. It's I believe he said it was a 2 or 3 day event that you have to go to, and I think it's in Chicago. But it's an amazing training. I'm actually going to do it myself. It's like I want to see. I want to get it that good. So I'll let you guys know when the next one is. But if that's what you want to do, like if you want to step up and you want to be like a masterful salesperson, I would highly recommend that training. So I'll get you guys some details on that. The other thing I've got available too now is the Telus app. And some of you guys know about that. Telus is a review product. And they have an app that goes on your phone. They've got an emailable link that you can send out. Doesn't matter how you use it, but the ultimate thing about it is you're sending out to your prospects a thing so they can review you. You know, and you don't have to be like a local business to need reviews. We all need reviews. And what this does, it sends the link out where they just click the link and they've got their phone in front of them. Their phone has a camera, it's got a video recorder, and it's also got an audio recorder. So when they click the link, it says, you know, thank you, we would appreciate, you know, a review from you, and it's got your company name or your name or however you set it up. And it says, you know, we would love a video review. If you don't feel comfortable with that, next best thing is an audio review. And if you're not comfortable with that, you know, just a written review, that would be great. But we do prefer video reviews. So when they click the button, they've got 3 buttons to choose. It's video, audio, or written. They click that, and their video recorder comes up. And then there's a button, you know, start when you're ready. They can literally click it, record the video right into their camera, and it will upload it. They give you the star, you know, if it's a 4-star or a 5-star, however they rate you. And then it also broadcasts that out to the internet. So now it will put your reviews out online. They also give you a widget for your website, so those reviews automatically now show up on your website. So really cool. And the other thing that they've built into the new version of it is you can connect it to Yelp, you can connect it to G+, Google, you can connect it to Facebook, and then any of the reviews that are out there on those platforms, it will also pull those into your website. And it only displays them on your website if it's a 4 or a 5-star. So it automatically eliminates the, you know, if you've got any bad reviews out online, it'll automatically exclude those from your, from post them on your website automatically. Really cool software. And I bought a license for it where I can actually give it away for free now. I can give you guys the light version where you can put that widget on your site and it will grab any of the reviews out there and display them for you. And then you can start sending the links out if you want people to give you new reviews. So it's a really cool program. And like I said, I bought the distribution license for it so I can actually give it away to all my customers for free now. So if you guys want that, I just put the site up. I just put a page up on my site last night, so I can send that out to you guys and take advantage of that. So anybody else? Who's up next? Who's got a question? Lots of cool stuff. Any of you guys going to Craig's big thing coming up next week?
I am.
Are you, Gregory?
I'm not there. And I got a person to come who's a commodities trader who does precious commodities trading, and he is very excited to attend. And really cool was the office is only 3 blocks away from the event.
Oh yeah.
How convenient can that be? My first training on options went a little bumpy, but we got through it. The recording didn't come out as pristine as I was expecting, but that's okay. It was good, and I'm getting some traction on other people who might be interested in following me up later. But first, I'm going to get through the first process, and I'm recording all my processes so I can do a review later and then polish it.
Okay, well, cool.
Education and learning on Zoom, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, yeah. You know, for you, Gregory, I think the sales training thing I was talking about earlier, that might be really good for you. You know, that might be something that would really catapult you forward. Because if you're, you know, if you're getting out there and you're trying to promote, and actually anybody, if you're trying to get stage time to go and speak at events, you know, one of the things that most people don't realize is getting that gig is a sales job. You've got to sell yourself. And it's the same process. It's the exact same process, whether you're selling, you know, the fact that they should put you on their stage, that's a sale. You know, you've got to sell. You've got to convince somebody to do something. when they're taking an action based on your request, that is a sale. No matter how you slice it, that's it. So if you get good at that process, basically you can get more of what you want. So if what you want is to, go out and get on stages and spread your word, then the first thing to that is selling yourself onto that stage. So really cool stuff. Sales is something that even if you're not going to be a salesperson, like I don't have any desire to be a salesperson. I do what I do and I'm perfectly happy with it. But the more I've learned about sales over the years, the more empowered I am, because I realize everything is a sale. If you want somebody to do something, even people that have bought my program, believe it or not, it's a sale for me to get you to do the work. Even after you've bought the program, that's really important to me, that you don't just buy the program. It's important to me that you actually use it. And believe me, I have found that that is a sale. I've got to sell you guys on the fact that you need to do this stuff. So it's like everything in life comes down to a sale, and it really is. It's just communication. That's why NLP is really good, because that's really just communication. It's honing your communication skills. That's what this whole thing is all about. When you're making landing pages, it's about honing your communication skills. So if you are a better salesperson and you can actually do the stuff face to face and you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, then it's a lot easier to transition that into an online form. Because that's really what all a landing page is. It's figuring out what is the communication, what information do I have to deliver to get the person on the other side to do what I want them to do, which is purchase the product if the product's right for them. So, it's a matter of figuring out, what they need, what's right for them, and then making a recommendation. And when you do that in the right way, it really doesn't feel like a sale, but if it's masterfully done, it is a sale. It's all a sale. If you want somebody to do something and they do it, that's a sale. Even if it's your kids. You might want your kids to do their chores. That's a sale. You gotta sell that to them. A sale doesn't mean that there's money transacted. A sale just means that there's a negotiation that comes out favorable, hopefully on the part of both sides. So, that's just, the more I've learned about it, the more I've learned that that is a really important skill in life, not just in business, but in life. Like I said, if you got kids, you're a salesperson. It's just whether you're a good one or not. If you're not a good salesperson as a parent, I guess you're going to get walked all over. And nobody likes that. Gretchen, one of our students in here, that's what she does. She does child behavioral issues. She deals with that. She's got books about it. She does seminars about it. And, that's really what she's doing. She's just teaching the parents how to negotiate so they can raise their child better and they can get a better outcome for them. But to do that, you've got to convince the kid that that's what they want to do. That's right for them, and show them the benefits. And, if you don't, then you don't get the outcome you want. Think about that. If, let's say you weren't good and you couldn't convince your kid to get on the right track. Look at the outcome. Look what could happen with that. They might go down the path and getting on drugs or something. They could literally wind up dead. That's like a parent's worst nightmare. So, hey, there's Mr. Mark. Hey, how you doing? This guy is like the master of food. Every time I pull up Facebook, man, there is some tasty grubs on there. It's got his name on it. Oh, let me unmute you there. We can't hear you.
I was saying that'd be my wife. She's the one that hooks up all the food and the sees candy and all this other junk. I'm trying to lose weight, 16 pounds at the beginning of the year, and then here she is feeding me all this food.
Yeah, I have the same problem, man. It's like, you want to lose weight, you better get your wife on board or your husband or your significant other.
For real.
Man, that stuff, if it's in the house, we're going to eat it.
Oh, I know, it's done. She keeps bringing me these C's chocolate boxes, and I keep killing them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If it's there, you're going to do it. Cheryl, same thing, man. She's on this thing of teaching people how to get all the crap out of their house that's like poison. And I'm like, man, I need her, because Barb keeps bringing this shit home, and it's like, get that out of here.
Yeah, I remember, I forgot, I don't know if it was Laurel Langmeyer's event or I forget whose event we were at. And there's folks that actually do that as a business. They come to your home and they throw away all the junk stuff that you shouldn't have in your cupboards and refrigerator. And then they go shopping with you and teach you how to shop.
Oh, yeah.
So that you eat healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, we could all use that. And Cheryl's doing the same thing, but like with all of your household goods, all the chemicals and all the crap that cleaning supplies. And
you go, Cheryl?
Yeah, she needs a cape on her. She's going to be a superhero.
We need more of that.
And definitely on a mission.
Man, I want to hire her to come get it all out of here. The thing is, getting it out's the easy part. It's making sure it doesn't come back.
That's right.
That's true.
Just takes education, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, you got to replace those habits, right? You got to create new habits to replace the old bad habits. That's the situation there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to interrupt. Lately I've been getting up at 1 p.m, so that's why I miss your calls. And somebody actually came to the doorbell. We have that Ring doorbell, so somebody came. My son's job, he has packages delivered now, so they rang the doorbell, and I was like, oh, I got to get up. So I go, I'm up. Let me jump on John's call real quick. That's why my hair is a mess, and I'm wearing my glass. I still got my long hair, but
no worries.
Like, let me jump on real quick because I wanted to come swing by the house. I was supposed to try to come by your house, John, around Valentine's Day, but end up having a conflict of schedule, but we'll be swinging by there.
All right. Yeah, we were thinking about going down there and meeting up with you at the Baja Rock and Lobster on Valentine's Day.
Right. I picked up I was going to surprise you. I picked up a 1948 Chevy Fleet Master, another car to add to the collection, so I was going to drive it over there and pick you and your wife up and all four of us go have dinner, but it didn't work out. I mean, the car's fine. It's just our conflict of schedule, but I'll be swinging down there pretty soon.
Yeah, I got a new favorite there now. They've got that the Del Mar burrito, and oh my God, that's
everybody's probably like, we didn't tune in to hear about seafood, but let me tell you, this is the best place on the planet.
Yeah, it really is good. Good stuff.
So what were you guys talking about? I missed out. What were you guys talking about today?
Oh, we've covered everything from reseller stuff to sales programs to the new Telus app, and just kind of going down the list, seeing what everybody needs. So at that point, we can open her back up. Anybody else want to pop on, or if you don't have audio, you can go ahead and put it in the chat box there, and we can address it. And another thing we hit was Craig's event coming up next week. I just got an email from him last night. I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. He's saying he might have 700 people this time.
Nice.
So he's been out promoting and getting on some of the bigger stages now. So hopefully that'll do well for him.
And you know what? Jen brought home some earplugs from the NASCAR racing, so I could probably use those, and I'll be able to stay the whole day.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm fairly certain the content's probably going to be about the same as the last 10 years.
I could deal with the content. What I can't deal with is the decibel rating.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's very high energy.
So I see Gwen's on here. I see Ted's on here. Hello, guys and gals. I haven't seen you guys. Cheryl, of course. Not sure. I don't think I know the other folks.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some new blood in the mix, and some old blood, and
And I seen the email about your new office. So it almost from here looks like it's a green screen background. It looks pretty neat back there.
yeah, well, it is actually a green screen.
Okay. I was
It
like,
happens to be in my new office, but
it looks pretty neat.
yeah, that's the cool thing now with Zoom.
Yeah.
You can change the background to anything you want.
Cool.
Like we can go Hawaii, we can go outer space, we can go Frisco, whatever we're into.
That looks pretty neat.
We can change locale at the blink of an eye.
Neat.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool little thing that that's in there.
Are you having a table at Craig's again?
No, I've done that a couple of times in the past, and it really hasn't done much for me. And over the last few times, as things kind of been going down and down and down, so maybe I should have done it this time, because he's going to get a bunch of stuff, a bunch of new people. But we'll see. I'll be there. We'll see what happens.
Are you still promoting as an affiliate?
For Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really do a push out this year. But yeah, I'm still set up with them.
I was just curious if you were gonna win the #1 affiliate again and get on stage.
Probably not. I think that was
John.
that was probably just because I was the only one with a mailing list that year. Yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
Did you see Dan had a question? I don't know if Dan has video, or the audio, but he had a question.
Yeah, I did see that. So Dan, go ahead.
Hey, thanks everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Awesome.
Do you have any recommendations for digital product creation, coaching, or programs?
Oh, do you want to actually build your own coaching program?
No, to build digital products.
Oh, to build digital products out. That's actually fairly easy. Digital product, really, you can get something like Camtasia, and you can just do screen capture recordings of whatever you want to do training wise. There's a ton of different ways to do that. In fact, you can use Zoom. You could literally use Zoom for free. You could just set it up. You're the only one in the Zoom room, and you hit record, and the free version of Zoom will actually let you record up to, I think it's 40 minutes. And you can make your recordings that way. You could do podcast recordings, and then as far as putting them together, you could probably use something like ClickFunnels. They actually have a section in there where you can do the whole thing. You can do a membership program in there. I myself, I love Amember. I've been using Amember since like 2008, and it's such a cool program because it's got an affiliate program built in. It's got everything you need. It's got a mailing list thing built in. Like all the emails that you guys receive from me every week about the call reminders, those are all from Amember. It's like one really cool program. It's not a page builder though. You set it up, and it handles the permissions of your folders and files. So based on the membership level that somebody comes in, it will allow them access to what you want them to be accessible to. So that's, was there any other specific deeper questions to it? Or tell us kind of what you're up to, what you want to do.
Yeah, no, I kind of wanted to kind of explore that, creating some digital products.
Okay.
And curious if you kind of run across any programs or coaching programs to help create or help people create them.
You know, there's a ton of those out there. I don't really know that you would probably need that. I mean, it's pretty basic on there. You know, you're going to set up your outline. It's really it's common sense. If you know how to do the stuff, you're really just showing them over your shoulder what you're doing.
Okay.
So you don't need to spend a bunch of money on a coaching program to learn how to do that kind of stuff.
I think the process of creating a digital product is one thing, but I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, maybe you're looking more for someone to coach you along the launching of the product so that you could get sales. Am I mistaken?
Maybe a little of both. I think because I'm in the ACT program, so I think the ACT program helps a little bit with that. But I think you know, just organizing it and putting it together, because you know, I have the information in my head. It's kind of a matter of putting it down on paper, so to speak, and then organizing it in a fashion.
Yeah, because John's right. You could deliver it as an ebook. You could deliver it as a digital course. You could deliver it as audios. You could deliver it as a membership site. Deliver it as a membership site that's drip fed. There's different ways to deliver your content. The one thing I'm going to tell you right now, after doing this several hundred times and selling thousands and thousands of products, is don't get caught up with people stealing it. Because if people want to steal it, they're going to steal it. There's no way to keep 100% of the bandits out there from stealing your software or your product, because there's things out there called group buys. And so if there's something that your course, let's say you're selling for $997, $1,000, you'll get a group of people that will come in together and they'll put $50 each towards it, and they'll buy it and they'll share it. And eventually that group buy will end up on these black hat sites, so it'll get shared. So just don't even get caught up in the DMCAs, filing those, DMCAs and all that. Just put your product out there, push it, promote it, get as many sales on the front end as possible, and then move on to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, another thing too that I would tell you, when you're creating a digital product, it's much better to have a recurring membership type product than just a one-off.
Okay.
The one-offs is, it's just like anything else. As soon as you make the sale, yeah, you might have acquired a new customer that you could sell other stuff on the back end, but to get them on a drip where they're paying you monthly, that's one of the things. When I look at over the years how much I've made off of just doing these weekly calls, it's really awesome. It's a great income coming in for something that gives a lot of value to your program too. It keeps people in because it's supporting them. You figured out what they want to do. Now the best thing you can do for them is to support them in that effort. Be there for them and help them along the way. And that creates huge value and huge trust. And then also when you've got a back-end product for them, you'll have a lot more sales, and they'll be a lot easier as well because of that high trust value and the value that you've delivered week after week after week. Even, and another thing too, I would recommend you keep that support cost very low. I've looked at a lot of guys, they want to get as much as they can up front. A lot of the digital marketing community, they want to get you in. Like, look at Kern. Look at Frank Kern. He's selling his for, it's almost $400 a month. Now how much value does he have to deliver for you to stay in that very long? Yeah, if you're only in 2 months, he's got $800 out of you. But I would rather, do a small amount, keep people on a regular payment over years and years and years. I literally have people that have been on this call since 2008. They're still here. A lot of times they're not in every week. Maybe they're in a couple times a year. But when they come, it's when the shit hits the fan, they know I'm here for them. So it's like, that's, to me, that is like building huge value and huge community. And I would much rather see you, do something like that. I know, like Craig was promoting the thing that you should sell the lifetime membership with a one-time fee, and that is literally business suicide. Yeah, the thing that he made the example of a woman that was selling a diet thing. She had a diet program and she was running a membership site and she was selling, lifetime access. I think it was like $49 for lifetime access. And, he was telling how great it was and how much money she was making. But, that's in the diet industry. That's a massive industry with people that are flooding into it on a daily basis. It's an anomaly. It's a one-off niche where that happened to work for one person. You can't like take that model and go out into the real world and have that work, in most cases. It's suicide. So, you get somebody to pay you $50 and now you're going to support them for life. Really? You better have a bunch of new people coming in every month after month to support that.
She was the lady, John. She was the lady that had the Facebook fan page of like over 1 million folks, and I think it was in Spanish, right?
No, that's Kathy Neeson.
Okay.
And she was doing something different. This was some woman that was doing a diet product, and it was some kind of support group. But it was a $49 one-time, lifetime membership. And yeah, she had an incredible marketing program. She had a massive following, so it actually worked for her. But Craig and several other people were actually touting that as something that you guys should think about. It's like that is a complete anomaly why that worked. So if you take that into your own niche, it's probably 99% chance of failure on that one. That's why you got to be careful. When you see something, we always feel the grass is greener on the other side. We'll see people and they're doing something and we're like, man, I wish I could do that. But you don't realize there's some things under the hood that might make that work that you don't have available to you. So, keep on focus, do your thing, verify that you've got the right market, verify it's profitable, and then put a marketing program together to sell into it.
So, like, I know what you do for your calls. In your experience and what you've seen, is there a particular? Well, I think Frank Kern charges $400. Is there kind of a sweet spot as far as pricing goes, or is it just kind of dependent on the value that you bring?
Well, the sweet spot is where you're low enough. As far as an ongoing program, the sweet spot is where it's low enough that when they see their credit card bill, they're not going to go, oh, damn it, I should cancel that. For me, that's under $30 a month. The way I position it is, you guys have access to me for under $30 a month. That is very cheap insurance to make sure that something doesn't go horribly wrong in your business. Or if it does, I'm going to be there and I'm not going to charge you, normal rates to help you fix it. Where if you weren't on here and let's say, a business owner called me because, something went wrong in their business, that's $1,000 an hour consulting. So there's huge value in that, having access to me on a weekly basis for under $30 a month, there's massive value. So you got to look at that. I mean, some people are doing it for less. Some people are doing it for more. Like, Frank, he thinks his value is $400 a month. For you to see that on your credit card bill every month when you're not getting on the calls or he's not actually helping you. And the way he positions that is, he says he's going to be there. He's going to be turning the nuts and bolts in your business. And that's not what's happening. You're on a group call and typically it'll take like one or maybe two people a week and he'll give them some nuggets in front of the group. That's about it.
But, it's more common than not, though. Some of the students we work with, the one I brought to your house, Frank, John, they're paying $197 here, $297 there, $3. I mean, he was putting out almost $2,000 a month in coaching programs. Yeah. I shit you not, excuse my language, but, we had to go with them and convince them to stop putting out all this outlay. And when he would try to cancel, they threatened him, oh, we're going to ruin your credit. You signed a contract, for 12 months, blah, blah, blah. And it's pretty bad. But more often than not, a lot of these folks are charging $197 or higher per month to work with these people, quote unquote, work with them.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the same kind of programs. But what I'm talking about is like long term. You know, if you want people that are going to follow you long term, then that's really a hard thing to do, is charge them that much. You know, if it's a 1-year program, yeah, absolutely. You know, or if it's a defined, hey, you know, we're going to take you for the next 6 months and it's going to be $500 a month. That kind of stuff, no problem, because that's a defined program. But if you want them on like a, you know, a lifetime drip, that's what I'm talking about. You need to keep that price low.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a program, you know, I mean, definitely I would encourage you to charge more. Like when we do our apprentice program, it's $1,000 up front, then it's $500 a month for the year. But it's a predefined, it's a 1-year program, you know, and there's all the stuff that you get within the year and, you know, all that. The value is there. So they're buying into that. They're not buying into, you know, an ongoing maintenance fee of that amount that they're not going to use probably.
You know, StomperNet had a good program running for many years, right? Until the internal greed kicked in. But they were charging, I think, $400 for SEO for almost 5 years or something like that. And, you know, then the internal greed kicked in and they fell apart, right?
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember that launch. That was absolutely nuts.
They were giving cars away, sports cars away to the top affiliates. I remember being part of that.
They could afford to do that. I remember that. I actually I didn't sign up for the program, but one of my customers signed up for the program.
Yeah.
And you know, he was asking me, you know, what am I going to get in there? And I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea what they're going to provide in there. But anyway, he got in and he gives me the login access so I could go in and look at it. And I'm like, it was an absolute treasure trove of information.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no method to it. It was like, it was all in there. You had to just go in and figure it out.
Yeah.
And it was like nobody used it.
Well, they had the calls. I remember, you know, we were a part of it for a little bit. You know, where they did really good was their live events, because, you know, they had thousands of people paying $400 a month. At first, when it came out, it was almost $700 or something like that. And then, you know, you do these live events, and they had thousands of people at their live events, and they had speakers every, you know, 90 minutes pitching something from the front of the room. So it was they made tens of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, yeah. They made that the first year.
Yeah, I mean, their affiliates were responsible for a lot of it, of course, but still, you know, they brought in a lot of money. And I agree with you. I think if you want to keep something to where it's off the radar, you know, $27-$37. Due to attrition, you're always going to be losing people, so you got to constantly be feeding the machine. That's why you want to use something like ClickFunnels to keep putting people in there, and eventually you're going to plateau. You know, and it's what do you do to change that plateau? Because due to attrition, you're going to be losing people no matter what. It just happens. So you got to replace those people, and then eventually you hit a plateau. And so, you know, a good target number, imagine, you know, Ryan and them used to talk about this, and this kind of model we used to try to follow was try to hit 1,000 people. You know, if you're charging 17 a month at 1,000 people, you're talking about 17K a month. I mean, who couldn't live off of 17,000 a month? I mean, you got, after PayPal fees, you're probably looking at about, you know, 14 and a half, but still that's 14,000 a month. You do that 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 different membership sites, and you hire project managers to run the sites. You're paying them 20% commission to run the sites, and you can walk away from the business. You're still making a nice chunk of change. Yeah,
definitely. That's you know, that's really what I like to target is, you know, that 1,000. You know, that's kind of the magic number. You know, if you get 1,000 people in there that are paying you every month, it's like whatever that number is, you don't need a lot. You know, it's kind of like the way I kind of got that thinking in business was an older businessman. You know, this was a friend of mine and kind of a mentor way back. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But one of the things that he said when I was getting into business very early, you know, I was very young. And at the time, I didn't really get it quite like I do now. But what he told me was, he said, you want a lot of customers. You know, because at the time I was thinking I wanted big customers. I just wanted a couple of big customers and I'd be done. And he said, that's a dangerous game. He said, you want to think about your customers as you think about your appendages. And I'm like, what? How is a customer like an appendage? And he said, well, he says, if you have only 2 arms and you lose one, that's gonna really hurt. You're not gonna be the same. He said, you got 10 fingers. If you lose one, yeah, it'll hurt a little bit, but it's not really going to affect your daily life. Whereas you lose that arm. And he said, think about your head. You only got 1 of those. What happens if you lose that? It's all over. And then he took it a step further and he says, how about hairs on your head? How many of those do you got? What happens if you lose one? You don't even know. So, you know, it took years for that really to sink in, what that really meant, but that is probably why I think the way I do about business. I'd rather have 1,000,000 hairs on my head, and if I lose one, oh well, no big deal.
Well, it's like with the offline gold mentality. When you're selling internet marketing services to local brick and mortar businesses, you know, the students want to go after these $2,000 a month clients, and they get 3 or 4 clients. They're making $6,000, $8,000. They're happy. I always, like you, go after the $497, $197, because if you have 20 or 30 of them and you lose 2 or 3 of them, it doesn't hurt you as much. But you lose one of those $2,000 a month clients, it starts to hurt you.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the theory behind that. It's think about clients like you think about appendages.
That's a good comment. That's an interesting thing as you guys are talking about that, because I got involved with the local city program that is trying to build websites for about $600, and they're using student interns to build these websites so they can learn, get hands-on coding and all that great stuff. And they've been asking me, well, what can we do for marketing? I'm like, John kind of killed the local package. So I'm like, I'll get back to you on that because I'm not sure how we're going to develop that for you guys right now. But I can get you all the information you need to help you out. But I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's like, you know, from SEO, the SEO part of it, you know, local marketing, it's more work than national SEO. You know, at this point, there's so much little nitty gritty crap. You got all this stuff to deal with. It's like, it costs me more to do a local SEO program than it does to do a national program. And one of the big reasons, you know, like I tell everybody, my favorite customer is a big manufacturer. And generally the reason for that is it's so easy to optimize them because they're working with brand names that are specific. They're working with products where they may be the only one that manufactures that type of product versus, you know, you go to the local guy, the plumber, what is there, 50 plumbers in every city all selling the same thing? It's, you know, and the big manufacturers, they'll pay a lot more. You know, if you want to look for, you know, take a step back to the very first keystone of ACT, who's your most profitable client? What's the most profitable segment of your market? For me, it's those manufacturers. It's the ones in the 2 to 10 million range. Those are the ones that just make a whole lot of sense for me because that to me is my most profitable little segment of SEO. It always has been. Hasn't changed since the very first day I started this thing. And, you know, another thing too, Rustin, you had mentioned, you know, about the whole thing about doing the cheap site building. I don't know if you guys know, but that's actually how I made my break into the internet world. You know, I had all those customers from the photography days. And when Photoshop came out, I realized, hey, this ride is very soon going to be over. And my problem was all those customers needed websites, but they didn't have any budget. You know, it was all those manufacturer customers. They didn't have a budget for that because it was so new. No one had built a budget for it. They had their budgets for all their marketing and it was all in place, and photography was a big chunk of that marketing budget. But they had zero budget for building a website because it was such a new thing. So the way I did that, the way I acquired all those customers and got all that hosting business was I actually went in and I said, look, I understand you don't have a budget for building a website, but you've got a discretionary budget monthly for anything you want, and let's put that into the hosting. And I charged them, you know, a couple $100 a month for hosting back then. It was literally costing me pennies, and here I'm selling it for a couple $100. It was like I was selling thin air. The best thing ever. And I said, I'll build the website for you for free if you host with me. And I was knocking out like 3 sites a week. And I did that for probably a year or two. And at some point I sat back and I looked at my numbers, and I told Barb, I'm like, hey, we don't have to work anymore. We're going to make as much money if we're on a cruise ship as if we are sitting here at our desks. And that was the first year we started taking cruises, and we spent 5 weeks on cruise ships that year. And I proved it. I was right. We made the same amount of money on the cruise ship as we would have sitting at home. In fact, it was cheaper because they feed you, and for the price you can get on a cruise for a week, I can eat more than that at home. So we actually saved money.
So it was like following the cellular company model. You were giving away the expensive cell phone up front to get the monthly.
Yeah, exactly. And it was great, but that's how I did it. That's how I literally broke into a brand new market that people didn't even know what they were buying. They didn't even know what it was worth. You know, that's how I did it. And then once I got that base and I had all those hosting customers and I had their websites, the way I sold them SEO, back then we didn't even know what SEO was. We didn't know what to call it. I mean, we knew the basics of how it worked, but I would go into the customer and I would pull up their website and I would show them, okay, here's what we've got. What this is, what we're looking at is an electronic brochure. So that's what you have. You have an electronic brochure now for your company. Now, obviously, you would never print a brochure and put your time and money into a brochure and then leave it in the box under your desk. It wouldn't do you any good. We all know the only way a brochure is going to help your business is if it's put in the hands of the right people. Then your business grows. And I said, I can do that. I can take this electronic brochure out of the box and I can put it in the right hands of the right people. And that's how I sold it. They wanted that. That was advertising. They had a budget for that. So that's where I pulled the money back out of them. That's how I got back to the scale of the amount of money they were paying me for photography. But it was, you know, there was a couple of steps in between. I had a master plan that I got to tell you, everybody that saw what I was doing and I told them what I was doing in my plan, they told me I was nuts. They said, man, I would not put any effort into that. And I'm glad I just kind of turned and shut them all out and did my thing, because it was one of the best moves I ever made. So pretty cool stuff. All right. Anybody else before we wrap up? We're coming up on the end of our hour. Anything I want to make sure everybody gets what you need here this week?
When's our next get together, John?
Next get together, I have not put it on the schedule. I'm working with Jonathan now. He's putting his job basically. Once I get all my pieces in place, which I think I've got pretty well now, I'm going to do the final indoctrination recordings this afternoon. His job is to put a webinar together every week for the next year. And based on the speed of people coming in, new blood coming in off the webinar, that's going to determine how many live events we do over the next year and basically the timing of them. But if you guys want to do like a live mastermind or whatever, we did one here not too long ago. I'm up for those. Just let me know what works and we'll put one together. Another thing, Craig's event. Gregory just reminded me there on the chat. Craig's event next week is on Thursday. It starts on Thursday. So I'm not sure if we'll do a dark call. I'm not sure if we're going to be dark next week because I am going to the event. So we'll see if I can fit it in. We'll push the call up to Wednesday if you guys need more info. we'll do that. But we probably will not be live on next Thursday. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap up here? All right, guys. Well, have a great week. And some of you, hopefully I'll see you next week at the live event at Craig's. And if you need a ticket, let me know. If you want to go, I can get that for you. So, all right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks for sure. Maybe next Wednesday.